Hello, how's it going? Welcome back. This is So Live. It seems so echoey in here. I'm still getting used to the sound of my voice in here, but you guys say it's okay. So tell me if it is. And excuse me, I haven't talked much yet today. Today we are making this little friend zip pouch. Excuse me. And this is by Minky Kim. You can see her name right there. But on Instagram, she is Zeriano, Zeriano. Hi, Maria. How's it going? Good to see you. Sorry, I thought I cleared my throat enough before I started. How is the sound and the lighting and everything? I don't turn on any lights anymore because the lighting is so good in here. So I love that. And I feel like the colors are more true to what they look like in real life. So yeah, this little pouch is super cute. She is really known for illustrating on fabric with sewing, and it's amazing. I've been captivated by her stuff for a long time. I've been following her for a while on my other accounts, and I still follow her on my new accounts. And I just, you know how I feel about hand sewing. I don't like it. And I mean, it's okay. It's just not my jam. I'll do it, but it's just not my thing. And she also quilted her little pouches, and I did a little bit of quilting. So hi, Malin, how's it going? So that fair disclaimer to all the quilters out there, I'm rubbish at quilting. Hi, Ida. Oh, thank you, Maria. Thanks for telling me that. Awesome. So I do my own variation on that, and I feel like the pouches I'm sewing today don't really stick true to this aesthetic, and this is freaking adorable, so you should go this route. I don't have any little kids in my life nearby to hand these to. I have my niece and my nephew, but at the same time, like, I give them things like I make kind of, regularly, and so I don't know if they really need another pouch. So I'm going to make one with ears and a face, and then the rest I'm just going to make a few other variations. In fact, I made one this morning because I wanted to test my zippers out because I don't use store-bought zipper. It's a little wider and heavier, and I thought I had some store-bought zippers, but I don't. So I made this little one right here out of this funny fabric for my daughter, who's a Scorpio. And I even made a little zipper pull. It's got a little, barrier so things don't fall out. Mine's poofy. I should probably stitch it down, but that's my little pouch. So I'm sure you've seen pouches like this before, and this would be a really great intro. The pattern is so affordable, and you can do all kinds of things, really fun things with it. I keep cutting them out and keep sewing them. So anyway, so on to what we're going to be doing. I have this one out of this little face fabric. Okay, so the story behind this fabric is that there is this really amazing fabric designer. She does all kinds of things. She's amazing at everything. Named Heidi Kenny, and her Instagram is My Paper Crane. And I've bought a lot of her fabrics on Spoonflower before. In fact, the little faces inside here are hers. This little like happy cup of cocoa. In fact, my little mug thing is this. Sitting right here all the time. It's kind of dingy, sorry. And she has pre-printed things on Spoonflower that are like you buy the fat quarter and it's the whole project to make it. There's directions on it, kind of like panels from the fabric store. And this one was a bread loaf cover. So you literally make a bread loaf cover and it's the shape of a cat sitting on your countertop. I know faces and ears aren't really my thing, but she puts faces on everything, like everything. And so she immediately popped into mind when I was going to make this. Is that a smudge on my glasses or did I scratch them again? Probably a smudge, probably a scratch actually. So this was like the leftover, and I pieced it together, and then there's a tail on the back of her little loaf. So this is the size of the loaf thing, the big one, and then you make sides, and it's really cute. And then there's ears that poke up and everything. I had to cut ears out of my scrap fabric, so this is the back of my bag. See, that's the front of my bag. So I already kind of pieced that together. I'm not really going to quilt it. I just top stitched it. So there's that one. I'm cut one out of canvas with no stiffener or interlining. Hi, Carol. No interlining, just in case you just want to try and sew one of these pouches with what you have on hand, and maybe you don't have this fleece, which this fleece I'm using is a sample. I checked out once, and so that's what I'm cutting from. And then I made a, see, this is my random quilting. I made this one. I still need to cut it out. I just quilted it. There's my lining. And then this one. And so for the fabrics that are one way like this, I put a seam right here. It's really obvious. A lot of mine, our fabrics are one way. So I had to put a seam so that the fabric is right side up on either side, you know? So fair warning, make sure you do that if you're doing what I'm doing, going away from the pattern a little bit. So these two still need to be cut out, and I'm going to do that in a minute. So these are the two I have right now, but I kind of want to sew one of those first. Although we could do liquid stick true to her. Let's do. Hi, Eliza. How's it going? So let's actually sew the one with ears, since that's the closest to her adorable little pouch. You can be a bunny or a kitty. You could do any animal you want. I feel like maybe my little inside things are going to be a little too thick, and maybe I'll take out the fleece. So that was a good example, a good trial today. Let me see if there's any. And she gives, you know, photographic instructions on how to sew it. My printer, for some reason, does not print anymore very well. I really think that it's because I printed way too many shipping labels, and the shipping labels were always the same, like 3 or 4 colors. And so I've ruined my print. Just after thousands of labels. Hi, Sadie. How's it going? I mean, Marcia. All right, so let me sew my little ears here. So there's a pattern for bunny ear and a kitty ear, and you could easily make a doggy ear if that's your thing. And like I say, I'm kind of used that Scorpio bag that I made, which is right here, just in case you're just joining. I did a little trial today of the little bag, and I quilted it. But you guys should note, like when I quilted this, I didn't go through the scorpion himself. I just went through around him. I kind of just guessed. This is another one I pieced together right there, but no one's gonna see that's the bottom, and then there's the inside. Look how poofy these are. I think I'll either leave out the fleece or edge stitch it or something. So let's see here. 1/4 inch seams. And I will note that when you make those little barriers, the ones I was just showing you that are kind of poofy, you need to cut 4 of those. It says cut 2 on the pattern piece, and that's because she treats it like as if you're quilting all the fabric first and preparing and layering all the fabric together, and then you cut 2 out. So just note that. And a bit about quilting. When you are doing something like this, you know, quilting a small amount is so doable and really fun, you know? So totally recommend playing around with it. I feel like it's a good, you know, step into quilting and fun with stitches. And you probably have some really cool stitches on your home sewing machine, you know, to try out and have fun with. But remember that quilting sometimes shrinks the fabric up. That's why I didn't cut those out yet, those 2 over here. I quilted them first. I'm also not an expert quilter, so I wanted to see what would happen. There's my wee little ear. See, I think this fleece I have is a little thick for this project. Where's my, oh, here it is. My chopstick. You know, it's an excuse to get Chinese food, right? Or Thai. See, it's a little thick. Ears. So what are you guys doing today? It's kind of a departure. I know we usually sew clothes. It's so nice not to, in a way. We should sew more bags. I'm going to do a skirt on Saturday. It's from my needle sharp box, and I'm happy. We've never done a skirt before, but I'm a little concerned about the sizing. I am the largest size on the pattern. Hi, Olivia. Isn't it cute? I know. This gal is so clever. You check out her Instagram, you guys, and scroll through it because you have to see like how she draws on fabric with her sewing machine. I'm not talking about embroidery. I'm talking about something different. I mean, I had seen like people do this before, but not how she does it. Yeah, right, Maria? And Natalie, sure. Oh, which one's that, Mullen? You know, I'm trying to like pick up more of the seamwork things. Okay, here's my other little ear. So there's notches on the pattern replacement for the ears, but I'm gonna kind of like look at it. And so when you sew the bunny ears, you sew them flush with the top and then they hang down in front of the face. The kitty, you're gonna sew them in the seam and then you're gonna have to tack them back up, like maybe do some hand stitches. I was thinking about seeing what I thought how the binding would look in between, and then I could actually insert them behind the binding. So I picked either this one for the binding, which doesn't go with the lining very good, but not much of the lining is gonna show. This one, or I have this gold, which is pretty magical. If I do the gold, I feel like I could do, so it would look like this on the edge. I could do this, don't you think? Let's see, will that work though? I think it would. And then I could just tack the zipper on behind that. I think that could work. It might be hard to get the zipper past it is what I'm thinking. You know, so if I stuck it behind this binding right here, it could be a little thick to get past the zipper. I could always try it and then pull it out. You like the colorful one? Short sleeve shirt with a simple collar, no stand. Camp collar, I think it's called. Or convertible. That's what I call it, convertible. I like camp though. The colorful one? You made some Burnside bibs? That's a really fun pattern. I want to make another pair of those. I modded mine so much. They're not even close to the original. And I want some that look like the original. I wonder if I have enough fabric in my stash for those. I also am going to make that, let's go the colorful route. So once you have this cut, and you know, I would tack all your layers together, at least in a couple places. I just stitched down right here, you know, so that it's not doing the shimmy shimmy Cocoa Pop thing, right? All right, so I have a cream zipper for this. So see what I mean by, I'm not using a store-bought zipper. This is built for us, this pattern is built for a store-bought zipper. So my zipper tape is a little bit wider and my teeth are a bit heavier, but I have a bazillion yards of this still, and so this is what I'm using. So, but I'm gonna try and sew it in the way you would sew it in, because I could cheat and just sew one side of the teeth on each side and then put it together and it'd be a lot easier. Nice, Mullen. Yeah, the rise on anything that's a one piece is always the trick. That's why jumpsuits are so tricky. Okay, so let's bind. You know me, I love binding, and I was like, yay, a pattern that takes lots of binding. There's a little ink printing error there that kind of annoys me. Didn't see it until I was done. Right? Oh, I think I saw that. All right. I love this binding. When I was almost out of it, I hoarded the rest. There's not much. It reminds me of licorice all sorts. Okay, so maybe I should just explain how I like to sew binding. So when I sew binding, I slightly stretch it. You see how it's like ruffling? I will tell you, on a curve, binding is the easiest. I know that's kind of weird to say, but there's something about when you sew it on a curve, especially if you slightly pull it as you're attaching it right like I am right now, it just magically wants to turn to the other side and then turn under. I'm doing 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm doing it from the back, from the inside. Don't really need to back stitch there. From the inside to the outside. And then I pull it to the front. So now in her instructions, you hand sew the binding and you get that really great look. You see that? Look at that. There's no stitching showing. Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? So mine's gonna look different. If you need to trim your edge, trim your edge. I'm gonna look at mine. Mine's pretty good. And then turn it under. Grab your trusty awl. I know I'm like only the only one that ever does this, but see how that is just magically turning to this side. It wants to turn under because I pulled it slightly and the curve just loves the bias. No one's gonna see the other side at all because the zipper's gonna get attached to it. Hi, Louise. Look at his little tail. Like, I don't need another pouch in my life. Like, I want to need another pouch in my life, but I don't need one. But I'm gonna try and use all of these. Can you guys hear all my little sun, you know those little things? Carol, stop. I may have to hand sew the ears. I know, I said that at the beginning. I was like, look, you guys hand sew these because the way she does it is so adorable. I just love her work so much. And I was like, oh, this just looks like fun to do. I always have trouble deciding what I want to make. And I'm trying to decide between like a few different things with you guys. And then I just go a completely different direction so I don't have to make a decision, you know? Sorry. Okay. It's like a gigantic pot holder, which she sewed someone else's pot holder on her feet, and it is so cute. I love how she utilized them. All right, so, oh, I forgot the ears, you guys. All right, let's put the ears in. Ears, my cat needs ears. Shoot. Binding is just so satisfying to sew that I just like lose myself in it, you know? I love it. Here, I'll let you guys look at what I'm gonna sew on Saturday. I'm gonna make this. There's a hair in my eye. I'm gonna make this, but I'm the biggest size on this pattern, so I'm a little worried. So, you know, like maybe I should do a muslin instead, you know? Because that just doesn't seem possible. I'm not saying I'm tiny. I'm just saying I don't feel like I'm the largest size on a pattern, a modern pattern, you know? All right. See, since I did this from back to front or inside to the outside, at least I can just slip my ear under here. Oh, to get satisfied with your binding? I think, you know, I wasn't really satisfied with it, and then, but I still enjoyed sewing it. You know what I mean? All right, so let's see. Stay there. My awl is rolling all over the place. You know what I learned when I was moving, and I haven't been able to fix it? My table is uneven by like that much. This sewing table here, it's like down on that side. Is it really the Seymour Kristen top? What does the Kristen top look like? It's all binding. Does it have a binding neckline? Because those don't go so well. Yes, it is a French company. Oh. Okay, sorry. Let's see here. I'm thinking they're gonna go right over these little corners. And I'm going to curve them a little bit so that it'll go inside my binding a little better. It didn't get very even right there, so I gotta trim all that off anyway. Let's hope my ears are still about the same as each other. I think it's asymmetrical? They look like very symmetrical. Okay, so let's put them on the same way. I think that's the way. All right. Always harder to do it after the fact, isn't it? Yeah, I know, Marcia. Right? I was kind of shocked, and so I was going to sew that skirt a long time ago, and then I saw that and I was like, huh. I got to look into that. And there's really not a lot of them on the hashtag to look at that say, none of them say what size they made. And so I just couldn't tell, you know, like to trust that or not. So a three armhole with binding all around on the arm. 3 armholes. So it's like one nest over the other. Oh, that's a lot of fabric. All right. So now I got to make sure I cover my stitching, the first pass stitching under this ear, because the ear is going to get peeled back. I'm going to stitch it pretty close to the binding. Blend it in. Yeah, got a little messy there, huh? Never good. It's never as good the second time, is it? Okay, and then you peel back your ear like this and you hand sew it down. So, you know, I'm going to clean this up right here. Having this little big, big fold right here is going to make it peel back on itself, and it's just not going to look as good. Of course, I like made the longest back stitch ever here. Let's see. All right. Yeah, that's true, Louise. Do they, Malin? That, because if that's the case, then that makes sense. I mean, I would like to be as, you know, smaller, but I'm not. And, you know, I am what I am. Oh, I got this one stubborn stitch right here. Okay. Please come out. There we go. All right, I got it. I had stars for eyes and should have remembered my ears. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what the back looks like. Looks okay. I'm gonna fold that under quite a bit more. Try and blend it in. Now, if you were hand stitching this, you wouldn't have to worry as much about this little overlap that I'm correcting now. But the ears are definitely gonna do something funny, you know, pulling them against that anyway. You were between. Yeah, hi Julia. How's it going? All right. Whittle ears. I mean, I guess he could be kind of a sleepy kitty. Forgot my ears, Julia. I'm going back and sticking them in there. I like the refashioning you're doing with your clothes, Julia. It's pretty cool. I definitely feel like I could dedicate a whole day a month on my stream to things I do after I've sewn something. Like, I don't hide it from you guys. It's just like after I wear something a bit, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to top stitch this facing down. I'm going to hem this a little shorter. I'm going to do, you know, it's like there's a lot of things I do. So, and then my ready to wear stuff too. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could actually make this work if I do X, Y, or Z to it. Okay, I'm going to try and stitch really close to the edge there. All right. We are eared. They're a little short. Oh, cool. I know today's the day I'm going to clean my old office, and then I'm out for sure on Monday. So like the last like 2 weeks I've been like out, but I just haven't cleaned it, and there's some things I need to get rid of over there. Yeah, exactly, Julia, exactly. Yeah, I saw that, Sadie, and I was at the like top end of that. I mean, at the bottom end of their minimum, so I couldn't take the survey, but that's exactly the intent, right? Yeah, right, Julia? I think that would be good. I'll have to start letting them pile up and not doing it on my own. Yeah, Greenland did that too. Okay, here's my wee kitty. So let's put the zipper in. So like I said, I'm using my zipper. I'm gonna put this, I was gonna put it back on. I'm gonna put this zipper pull on again because it was I got a little bump there. I could see it. Let's go from this in. This is what I have tons of. You can even, well, I don't know if you can see behind me the bundle. Oh yeah, it's like right here. 200 yards on a bundle. That's awesome. Yeah, so Julia has a new little Instagram called the Seam Ripper Project. And she's like modifying her things. Like she's like, hey, I'm not wearing this enough. What could I do to make it so I could wear it? It's funny because one of my bins up there, it's like this one. I think it's this one right here. I think it's that one, or it's the one below it, is filled with my clothes that I need to do stuff like that too. Or I'm like, okay, this shirt's dying and I want another one, so I'm going to copy it. So I have that little pile, you know. Hi, Karen. It's okay if you're late. So I'm making a little pouch. And the pattern is freaking adorable. She quilts it and she does stitching, and this gal she does really cute stuff. So I did a little trial today because I wanted to see if my zipper would work, and this is for my daughter. So I'm going to use this as a little Easter basket and put like some chocolates in there and maybe a gift card to Chipotle or something in there for her. She's 16, you know, so, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't watch my stream, so she doesn't know. All right, so when you put the zipper in, you can butt that binding pretty close to the zipper. I did pretty close on this one, and it's still like once it's sitting in its pouch shape, see it peels back and there's still some space for your zipper head to pass through. I did that mainly because I need to be one side of my zipper, my foot needs to be on the zipper because I'm not using a zipper foot. Wasn't Helen's Closet already, weren't they pretty inclusive already? All right, so, yeah, I just stitched this bad boy on. It's actually kind of wants to do it itself because my foot is on the zipper. If you're using a zipper foot, it's still going to be pretty easy because you have the binding as a guide. There you go. I'm going to test it. Always test it. There we go. And then now you're going to do the other side, but you're going to need to open up your zipper. Now, if you need to shorten your zipper, make sure you stitch over the ends. This is otherwise your zipper pull will go flying, and I'm not sure it's as easy to put on the zipper pull on a store-bought. So I don't know, I haven't tried that in years. All right, so I find that this part's a little tricky because your zipper's connected. When I did my other one, my zipper wasn't connected and I went, oh, I just cheated. I just realized I cheated. So I'm gonna I'm the boss of this, right? So I am making this what I want to. So I'm going to line this up like this. Oh, I need to put my little, let me make my little catchers on the sides there first. Because it'll be a little easier to get them in there. Actually, it doesn't matter. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. I'm the boss of this, right? This is where I'm at. So I'm going to make this do what I want it to do. You really want to try and line up these two edges here. This one. Ignore your bias. Here, let's make it obvious. Ignore all this. In fact, I'm gonna sew across my zipper a little higher up. I find that if you want to make sure you don't get any torque, right? We just say no to torquing here, right? So you want to make all these edges straight across. Oh, I haven't heard of the jazz jumpsuit. What, Milan? Really? Oh, ooh, I don't know the pattern off the top of my head. Carol. A drawstring bucket bag. Gosh, I would just look at some sewing blogs. I saw that this gal called attention to a design she already had that's an Easter basket, but it's quite more involved than making a little drawstring bag for ballet shoes. All right, so I'm lining up these edges right here. I'm the boss. So nice that I have a knee lift, right? Or a heel lift, so my hands can stay free. I hope I'm doing this right. It's weird to me to sew with the zipper on the left though. But I wanted to start from that end because it was the cut end. Right. There we go, that's a little easier. Get rid of that top. Don't think too hard about this, just sew it. I know that's crazy advice, but it's true. Don't think too hard on it. She doesn't show this step. She shows the first one, which is a little easier. It's getting tight. So I recommend if you do this, you buy a zipper longer than you need because like me sewing across the bottom right here was probably not a great idea. I should have left this, sewed across here, left all this open so I could open this up and have more space to work right now, okay? So if you can afford it, and I don't think it's much different in price, buy a longer zipper. That way you have more room to work than I do right now, you know? Because now I also have to get by my zipper head in a second. So on my next one, I'll know to do that. So I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about. Let me get this out of my way. Zip it up a little bit. I don't know if I can. I feel like I'm making this harder than it needs to be. So I'm gonna take it out and go from this side. All right. See? So you just don't have much room to work right here. But I don't need to do far. Just gonna pull this. I'm pulling this. Can you see that? I'm pulling this little hole to keep it out of the way. Ooh, I made it. All right. All right, and that's pretty good. Like that lined up pretty darn good. if I do say so myself. I'll think about it too, Carol. just so. Don't think too hard, just so. I feel like that's really key in a lot of these situations, you know. See, so your zipper, since it's store-bought, it'll be a little narrower. You'll have less of this ruffling here. But here you go. Home stretch, eh? There's his kitty butt. We all like a good kitty butt. All right, so let's put the little ends. I'm gonna try to without the fleece. I think that something in here would be good, but I think my fleece is just too thick, and I'm trying to see if I have anything laying around. Let me see if I have something laying around. Of course I have something, right? Perfect. I just got some like poplin. This is the end of a spoon flower print. They'll just include like this little half-yard piece sometimes. And I use it as interfacing. It's perfect. It's nice and tightly woven. I just love being in the honeymoon phase of my office and keeping it clean all the time. It's so funny. I'm just gonna sew that right on there. And I'll just trim it off when I go to trim the other part. That noise is my presser foot going up and down. It's a really loud machine, unfortunately. Oh, Julia, I need to order that interfacing. You reminded me of it. All right, so I'm just gonna trim all this off now. You could clip this curve to make the curve a little nicer than the one you saw on mine. It's on the inside of a pouch though, so. Oh, yeah. That would be cute. Minxes are so fun. They're big cats. I have a really big cat, but he's generic. He's a little bit tubby, but really he's not. He's just a big cat. And he has one of those bellies that hang, like the empty skin hangs down, so it makes him look, you know, really big. People are always like, what a fat cat. I'm like, he's not though. He's 17 pounds. He lost 5 pounds. He used to be 22 pounds. I call him Big Kitty as a nickname. All right, so I'm gonna turn my pouch inside out. And this, I'm gonna zipper up a little bit. This is the last 2 steps and then I'm done. Except for hand stitching those ears. Pretty quick if you don't make any mistakes like I did. I'm going to kind of pay attention to how this lines up though, because I would really like it to not be... Okay, you see how I'm getting this? That's because my zipper's wider. She's tiny? Really? Oh, that's funny. See, my zipper's wider. So I'm going to line it up with this one right here. No, I'm not. I'm going to line it up with this one. I'm going to trim this off. It's because my zipper's wider. You won't have this issue. Put that behind your zipper. And stitch it down. And then I'll bind it. I leave tails on the edge there so that I can do my little folding thing that I like to do. Now, truth be told, I have seen bags that are made by actually another indie bag maker. Oh, and Maria, you do this too. You can just cut your binding. You could just do this, bind the edge like this, and then cut the edge off. Like, I'll just do it on this one. I'll show you what I mean. Because the thing is, binding doesn't unravel, and it's the inside of the bag, and the edge of this binding is going to be butted up against the interior of the bag. So it doesn't really need the protection of being finished. Now, it's going to feel weird to not finish it probably to most home sewers. I'm just telling you this if you're like, I'm in a hurry, I want this done. You know, so here we go. Just don't cut into your bag. I'm going to cut away from my bag so I make sure, like that. Because see, that's going to go, I'll show you in just a second. It's just going to go on the inside of your bag. All right. Need to trim off that extra. Line all this up. I'm going to try and slip that down so it lines up the other one. I'm trying to make that straight across best I can, even though I haven't trimmed it yet. Oh, there you go. You see that, Carol? Marcia, who's Sadie Josie mom, has an idea for you. I have to trim this because it's so thick, my binding's not going to wrap around that edge. Definitely check out this Gal's Feed Zariano. It's really cute stuff. Cuter than what I'm doing. Especially if you have little kids in your life. Sorry, I'm just trimming off my edge like that. All right, so then turn it to the... Okay, so remind me, I want to sew this bag so that... Oh, I got a little tuck there. We bind it on the outside because it'll give you a totally different... The bag will kind of sit flatter. All right, here we go. Look at his little tail poking out. I didn't think it would poke out. Oh, I'm so glad I put the tail on now. All right, so then I just need to tack my ears up. Let's see. Shocked I threaded a needle and I just unthreaded it. Dang, I hate threading a needle in front of people. There we go. Let's see. I feel like my ears are a little thick. I'll just do one. This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put my back stitch right here, my little stop there. I'm actually gonna reinforce that a few times. I'm trying not to pull it too tight because then it just won't. And I'm trying to push this, see that little pleat I'm getting there? I'm trying to push that down. Like, why not just include it into my top stitching? All right, I'm gonna go like this. I unthreaded my needle again. Not a good, yes, Marcia, exactly. I might. I gotta hand sew something on this adorable bag, don't I? This is my only one with ears. And I cheated on the face already, so. Oh, let's see. If she's watching, she's probably like, oh my gosh. Not a quilter, not a hand stitcher. Yeah, I may need to do this off camera and do a little better job. Okay, that's a little better. Okay. When your thread gets caught on your tail. Oh, I learned that from a cross stitcher, Julia. So they put the ends of their thread. So see, I put the cut ends through the top of the needle, and then there it leaves it with a loop at the bottom, and then you can do a slip knot. So the only drawback to this is, say you're putting on your buttons and you're like, well, I'm gonna make a really long one so I don't have to cut my thread over and over again. Once you cut the thread on one buttonhole, you don't have that nice little loop at the end anymore. You can just knot it, but at the same time, you know, it's not as cool. When I was learning to stitch things on from that notorious gal I've told you about a few times, I'm going to shove my needle in here and kind of do this from the back side now. She showed me to just do a few loops like this and don't knot it. It is genius. Those cross stitchers, man, they have some skills. Yeah, exactly. It's probably a little, oh, right, Barbie's stuff inside there. Totally. Yeah, you could totally do that. I'm kind of over this part, so I'm going to just tie it off the clunky way, because I keep unthreading my needle by accident. Please forgive me. At least it's hidden behind my zipper tape and it won't get any friction. Won't get any friction. Oh, of course I caught my zipper tape. It won't, and no one will see my messy little knot back there. Love hiding things. Okay. You guys can ask me if I ever sew the other ear, and I will not be offended. I kind of like one ear up, one ear down. I considered this his belly, but I probably should have just used the outside fabric. This piece right here was fixed. I couldn't make it any wider, so my seam is a little awkward there. And the back was fixed as well, because it was pre-printed. What's that? I got dirt on there already? Oh, he's cute, his little tail. Let's sew another one. All right, let's put this away. So let's see, what do you guys think? Would you like? So I've got a canvas version with no interlining, and then I have these two quilted ones. What do you guys vote for? It is jaunty. And when do you get to use the word jaunty? You know, I love it. Got my train ride. I need to change thread color for this one if we do this one. And then I have these two, which I just need to cut. Oops, there goes my skirt pattern. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I'll cut these out either way, and then we're ready. Let's see if I still have my iron camera set up. Oh, kinda. The pattern stream really messed around with my iron camera. Oh, I might need my other blade. Nothing like a new blade. Says the Band-Aid on my finger. So I transferred the pattern to manila so that I can do this and I can trace around it. Manila meaning like a cardstock, you know? I like being able to use the edge of the pattern to trace things. It was so hard to stop cutting these out, you know? Rotary knives, not good for interior corners. This is what I call an interior corner. This was a fabric in my chicken boots line a really long time ago. I love the colors of it. It is also one way, so I pieced it like I did the other. And all I did was stitch loosely around the flower. It made such a racket lifting up my presser foot up so often that was all I could stomach. This one I kind of freewheeled the quilting. I just kind of did more of a geometric thing. I didn't really want to stitch around the owl and the bear after all the flower stitching. Hi, Amelia. Thanks. Yeah, no worries. I know, we're busy people. And Thursdays, I know, it's a weekday. So, are you guys voting for one? How about I just start sewing one? Here's my lining. I've got this brown floral. Oh, wait. I have two choices. I have this one. Or this one. What do you guys think? I know which one I like. They do cream. I'm gonna say I need cream for that. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Black or brown? I think the black looks really sharp. I hate the delay because you're probably all gonna say brown as soon as I put this black on here. Okay, I got one black. Black, yes. And then we have my little side pieces. I think are these. Yeah. And what do I think about? Oh my gosh. Why is that poking like that? So I feel like I didn't really need the fleece, but I think that the poplin would be a good alternative. Just looking for all my, oh, there they are, okay. These for this one. These for this one. What's the back of this? Oh, the back is this, okay. Just making sure I have all my little doohickeys. You like the brown? Hi, Isabel, how's it going? Yeah, contrast for binding. Okay, let's see how many, oh my gosh, wait. 1, 2, hi, Nancy. 3, 4, 5. 5 black. 1, 2, 3 brown, black. All right, so no ears, no tail, just a pouch. And if you don't have any quilting, all you gotta do is cut out your pieces. You could interface one, like fusible interface one if you want. I did the batting and the quilting on this one again. But on the train ride, I just used canvas, and the outer is one of those cotton and steel, linen, and cotton canvas prints. Oh, thanks, Nancy. Well, I see fabric that I avoid, not avoid, I mean I don't buy that I wish I buy, you know, like I miss out on lots. I just have a lot of little pieces right now. So remember, I stretch my binding a little bit when I put it on for the first pass. I could do the brown binding on the inside. Not that anyone will see it, but you know. You see that the yellow is my Choco liner on here. It'll go away really quick. All right. I feel like I'm forgetting a step. I think just because there's no ears. And it was already made. It was already ready to go. Okay. Black zipper, cream zipper. I think I'm gonna go cream. But this time, let's leave some space for me. It is bias binding. Makes it easier to sew on. All right, I'm gonna leave just a tiny bit off the edge there. Yeah, I don't really need to do that actually. I don't know why I was gonna do that. So because the zipper is by the yard, I put on the zipper pull myself. That's why as I'm zipping it up, it's still not opening the zipper because it's only gotten onto the zipper. It hasn't been used to yet. But when I go this way, now it opens it up. That's why I did that. I used to get customers that would say, something's wrong with this pouch. I think you made a mistake here. And it was just because my zipper hadn't been opened once yet. Oh, shoot. Don't come off there, please. Don't you do that. Here we go. It was like performing a magic trick for them, though, which was pretty cool. Oh, perfect. That's great, Carol. Marsha, I think there are starting to be more people like that. You know, I sold a ton of bias when I closed Chicken Boots. Easily 100 rolls. I had a lot. I still have some, but it's only like a few fabrics. I've been saving mine over the years, so I obviously have a pretty big collection now. That's what that whole row under the clear bins, the blue bin, clear bins, and then this row here, that whole thing going all the way across is bias binding. Yeah. That's gonna be probably my next how-to little video. I'll probably record it this week and it'll be up next week, is how to cut bias binding, the way I use it, and then how to sew it on and how to piece it together, all three of those things. So watch out for that. I'll let you guys know. You'll probably get an announcement like you do when I go live that it'll say So Live has just uploaded a new video, something like that. Yeah, right, Julia? I see that too. Oh, bummer, Marsha. I know. I feel like it would be a fun service to offer because I can get a lot out of one bolt. Like I think I get about, let's see. So when I have binding professionally made, I don't do that anymore. But when I was, usually I got about 30 to 35 yards of binding per yard of fabric. Okay. So, and then when they sent it back, if I put, like, I was sending more than a bolt. I was sending usually about 75 to 95 yards of fabric. And then I would get back my rolls. But when I just sent one bolt, like say we were doing like a little holiday limited edition thing, and I just needed a little tiny bit, I would send one bolt and I would get I want to say about 30 rolls back, and they'd be about 25 yards each. That's a manageable amount. 25 yards is still a lot for a home sewer. Oh, I didn't line up so good this time. But this, leaving this tail, so key, you guys. So much easier. Look how much easier that was. So let's see if that makes my bag a little wonky, not line. Oh, it's not line. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Here's the edge. See, I need to line these edges up. I'm actually just going to do it. I didn't backstitch, so I'm going to do this. Okay. It's thick enough I can do that. There we go. I don't want it to be wonky. I don't want my pouch to go, eek, you know what I mean? And when it's not lining up like that, that's usually what's going to happen. It didn't on my Scorpio one. I actually checked. I was like, oh, this is off like a 1/4 inch, and it was fine. Probably because between the quilting and the cutting and all that. Oh, right. I've seen that. I used to cut mine that way, and I have tried for the longest time to figure out how to do it, and I just should Google it. I don't do that because I'm usually cutting a lot more, but yeah, that is kind of fun because you pre-sew it, and then it's all sewn together and it's ready to go, which is kind of cool. That infinite bias, yeah. All right, so what was it? Oh, shoot. I'm gonna trim this. I don't remember which one was which now. I should have marked it, dang it. All right, get rid of all these threads here so that I don't immortalize them in my project. I'm thinking I didn't pull it enough. Guess I didn't get all the threads either. Yeah, I still got it a little off. I didn't make any adjustments. So let's see what it's gonna do to my bag. I've used it, Nancy. I used it right off the bat. It's tradition now that I have to use it, like, you know, immediately once I start the stream, right? But I am gonna cut more of this little interfacing and not use the fleece. I found the fleece to be too thick. My fleece is too thick. I don't think I'm using like a traditional interlining. This was a sample that I bought for chicken boots, and it's pretty gushy. It's nice, but no. I need 2 more. There we go. Oh yeah, it still has seams, but if you don't use a very big piece, like you're trying to maximize your fabric, you'll have a lot of seams in it. Because sometimes I've been desperate for a piece of binding and had to piece it together a lot, you know. After the fire, I learned that all of the binding from one of my groups, I didn't have much left, and it was with my sewer up there, and I got lost it all. And I didn't realize it until I went to sew something, and I was like, wow, I can't make any of these products now because I don't have the binding. The only thing I could have done was change the binding, but I would have had to re-photograph it. And I discovered this like in January, February. I wasn't going to do that because I was closing, so it's kind of a bummer. It went to 2 fabric groups, so I did what I could, and then I just called it quits. Did I just put 2 layers in there? Holy heck, what's wrong with me? I did. So I'll put 2 layers on this one. Yeah, so that's the funny thing is like the infinite binding. I used to do that before I bound a lot. Like it was probably more that I was like, ooh, I just need to try that because that looks so cool. And it made perfect sense. Like I got it, no problem. And then I don't think I did it like one other time. And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how to do that. Good thing we have the Google now, right? Okay, I'm gonna stitch this one and we'll see how it does on the inside of the pouch. I'm just gonna experiment all these things for you guys. What do you think? In fact, I'll sew the binding on the bottom, on the outside on this one, since we talked about trying that, so you can see the difference of what the pouch does. I'm a big fan of pouches that stand up on their own, and that would certainly help. But let's look and see if I have any wonkiness from my sewing. So if it is my camera too close? I made it really close because I found like I was too close to the machine. Oh, I think that's going to be okay. See that little extra I have there? But it doesn't look wonky. Okay, great. Dodged a bullet there, huh? All right. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Oh, right, we're gonna do this on the, all right, so I'm gonna tack this. Let's see, was that possible? Yeah, exactly, Marcia. You always Google it, yeah. I haven't done it since we've gotten Google. That's how long it's been for me. I used to have this like a Xerox copy of how to do that, and the lines were so faint, and it was like a little like drawing that someone had for that infinite binding thing. And then I lost that little drawing. Okay, I'm actually going to I really want to go like this and then trim it off. And then I could and put my zipper pull back on there, but that would be cheating a little bit. You can't do that, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to put the binding on the outside of these corners this time. So I tacked this little behind the zipper guard so like the contents of your pouch doesn't fall out. I tacked that on the inside. And remember, I'm getting this weird gap, this gap right here. because my zipper is wider than a store-bought. And now I can trim that all off. Oh, I forgot I gotta watch the time today. I don't think I'm gonna come anywhere near to, okay, yeah, we're gonna be good. We start early on Thursdays, so it worked out. This was another fabric in the chicken boots line. All I found was some cut pieces of it when I was moving, and I was like, oh, I didn't know I had those. It might be a little bit wonky, I gotta admit. I'm gonna stitch this from the back right here. Doing the best I can there. I feel like it wants to torque. It didn't look like it was torquing. Between my zipper being a different length and the funny way I put on that binding that last time, it's doing something funny. Okay, let's put our binding on. So this time we will clean finish our binding because it's going to be exposed. I'm going to start on the bottom of the bag. I wish I could wrap it around the corners, but because they're at an angle, I've just learned that that is more trouble than it's worth, because you can still imitate that kind of look when I go to do the last step, so it'll be fine. And like I said, I'm not a quilter. I just kind of like wung it. I wanted some decorative lines on this, and I just kind of was like, well, maybe I'll try it here, you know, because I didn't want to not do any quilting on it. It's not necessary. It just makes it feel kind of sturdier. I'm going to trim a little bit of this off. I only need about 1 inch. And then I fold it like this, kind of mimic the binding. Fold the corner, fold it down. The only thing I'm doing differently here is this part. So you could just fold it back on itself like this, cover up the seam, and then turn it twice and sew it down. But the thing is, you get this weird little opening there. And I find that sometimes the edge of your binding will poke out that little opening. So that's why I fold the corner down, kind of envelope style, and then I continue. Then just pretend like you're doing the same thing. Fold it down, then fold it down and over like that. So now you can see my stitching right now, but that's why my awl is going to come in handy. I'm going to cover that up like that. And I've learned, like, you can pull pretty hard on bias because of the nature of it. It's stretchy. But don't pull too hard. You might get a little bit of drag lines or torque. So now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I fold it to itself, kind of line up. I'm kind of pulling this apart and kind of tucking that in there, lining it all up flat. Now I fold that corner down, fold it over and over. That just took practice. And it's just a little detail I like having. Let's see, now the bag stands up a little bit. This bag looks different size when I make it. I feel like I'm, maybe my quilting isn't right. So, all right, so here we go. I call it like an envelope finish right there. You gotta remember, no one taught me how to do this, so I just kind of figured out the way I like to do it. And that's why I say there's just no right or wrong. There's better ways to do things than other ways, you know, and sometimes one way fits the situation better than another. But do what you're comfortable with, and you can pull off successfully over what everyone else is doing. know? Okay. I always know where my start stops are, my little threads. So these aren't laying as straight up and down because of the way we sewed the binding. So that's something to note. You could hand stitch them up, you know? I think I got my corners a little long. But you see, when you put the binding on the bottom like this, those tucks I have. Whoops, in my quilting. When you put the binding on the outside, it really makes the pouch want to stand up. But this pouch stands up anyway, you know? You know? So that is one way to do it. It's not a hard bag to turn inside out and right side out, so do what you want. Don't choose something over the other because you think it'll be easier, because I actually think either way it works. It might be a little less fussy to do it on the inside because then you don't have to deal with the little like zipper barrier in a funny way. Okay, I think I only have one. This is the binding I picked for this. Shazam! Right? Is this what I picked for this? This is kind of a big Shazam. I kind of wanted something really Eastery looking, you know? I don't know, Carol. I see people's things, and it's the fabric. The fabric's and this her pattern. Okay, and you know, it's nice having a stash. What do you guys think of that? I know I looked at them all. I'll be right back. You like it? Oh, okay, okay. I just pulled a bunch of teal. This one is hard to, this one's a little more, it's a gradation. Looks a little too lizardy on this, if that's a word. This one right here, is this what you're calling the red one? It's like shades of pink with orange. Okay. Phew. All right, let's see. I'm just going to use these fleece pieces. I'm tired of cutting that stuff, and then I accidentally used my ones last time. Like a silly. I've decided to stop stressing about all the things I make piling up. I'll just have like a sample sale once a year or donate it all, you know? I'm very minimal at home. I'm always trying to get rid of stuff. And I have a lot of stuff right now, like in my opinion. So like making myself more bags and pouches and clothes, I'm like, eh. So all right. This was the binding. This fabric is what I used for the binding with this when it was in chicken boots. And the lining was a pink pink. It was actually a really interesting pink. All right. All I did was quilt around the flower. You kind of see it. Not a whole lot. Just try and keep some of them simple. What could we try on this one? We kind of, yeah, right, Nancy? We kind of tried all the little things I could do. A little pocket in there would have, I could have tried that. I should have thought of that. I could have cut a little pocket to put inside. Trimming this so it's a little more of an even width. That dictates the width of your bias if you sew it on there properly. Look at this pink against here. Shazam. Yeah, can you guys hear all my little sun guys? They're like doing the little thing in the window. There's so much light. They are working overtime. They're so loud I almost had to put them in the closet yesterday. Your 2017 ornaments. What do you mean? I mean, I think a lot of people have ornaments with years on them, right? I used to not like that, but then I kind of understood it. You know, like if the year was tied to something on the ornament that reminded me of something that year, then I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. You know, I'm not very sentimental. It takes me. I have to be forced into it. And then I'm like, oh, this is great. Why did You guys, I just sewed my binding on backwards. Well, the fabric is quilted in the middle, so it's not going to shift too much. And when I put it on the binding, I'm doing this wrong, by the way. Usually I sew the binding from the inside of the project to the outside. I don't know what I was thinking just now. And I did okay. I got off right there. I'll fix that. I wasn't even thinking. If I'd known, I'd realize that not until the end. So when I put the binding on, I have one more bag to sew, so I'll go through it. But I slightly stretch the bias as I'm attaching it. And then when I do this step, I know that if I get that fold just past the first stitching, it's going to cover it up. And as long as I stitch to the right of that stitching, it's going to land on the binding on either side. I just use kind of that kind of logic to kind of coax myself through that. Let's see how I did. Not bad. What's that? Oh, it was a thread. I'm like, what the heck is that? Where'd you come from? Sheesh. Do I fix that? Do I let it go? It's always the question. All right, here's my zipper. Let's see. Let's go for it. Oh, let's set us up. This, I know what we'll do. This time we will pin the center, okay? The center is marked on the pattern, but by the time you've sewn this much, that mark is gone. This is how I'm going to mark the center of the zipper. I'm going to sew this zipper on, and because I have this marked here, I'm going to mark the zipper on the other side as my guide. So I lift up my piece here, and because it's kind of curved and got the bias going on, it kind of wants to sit on there. I lift it up because that way it can move. And we learned that we like this zipper to be longer than the bag. But let's stitch across the bottom so we don't lose it. Okay, so now we have the center right here. I marked it on here. Now we're gonna mark it on the zipper because the zipper is gonna be opened up. We know this pin needs to go to this pin. That's our guide. The ticking sound is those things. Is it annoying or what? They are so loud. They are boogieing. They love it here. Yeah, we have a 4-day weekend here too. That's why I was thinking I was gonna do this on Saturday because I was like, oh, we'll do an Easter stream. I'm not really big into Easter, but hey, it's fun, you know? And then I was like, maybe I should give people time to make a couple of these as a last second Easter basket, so. Oh, I see you, Nancy. I see what you mean. Yeah, this actually looks good. Because of the diagonal and the little triangles, I think you guys, that was a good choice. Good job, guys. All right. So let's open up our zipper. Okay. Let's move my binding out of the way. Yes, trim this. Trim this. And now we have our halfway point guide, our non-negotiable point, like we like to say. I'm the boss here, so I'm lining it up. Once I get it started, it'll be a lot easier. Just need to get it on that first spot right there. And to be fair, that little edge right there, that's getting caught in binding, so don't hold it too precious. All right, so here's my pin. Let's do this. How about we pin it? I know I don't usually do that, huh? Did I catch it? Oh my gosh. I want to poke myself. There we go. Okay, now we have it set. And it looks like I need to pull this a little bit. That was a good call. Remember, don't think too hard on this. There's all kinds of crazy happening behind the machine you guys can't see, right? Look at it, it's a mess back there. Don't think about it. I'm just sewing it on there. Don't sew the zipper by accident there. Let's mark this side too. Why not? Perfect. Okay, that was way easier to line up that time by just using our natural things as a guide. There we go. Okay, and we have our little ends. It does kind of, I thought this looked Eastery. That's why I picked this fabric today. Not bad. Got a little bit off, didn't I? Still. Not much though. Okay. The fleece is a little chunky in there. Like you can kind of see, it's like chubby bunny. I used to have this friend that would go up to kids and she would squeeze their mouth. And she'd be like, say chubby bunny. Okay, now say fat rabbit. And she had all of these variations on something in front of like a word that meant rabbit or hare or bunny. It was really funny. And the kids would be like, fat rabbit. Chubby bunny. I was like, what is this? She's like, I don't know. Someone used to do it to me when I was a kid. Cracked me up. That felt a little forced right there. Not gonna lie. Okay, let's get rid of this. That was a great helper. Oh, I did that on the outside. That's why. Yeah, thank you. You guys were telling me. This is how I sewed everything in Chicken Boots, on the outside. It is my instinct. We do one like that, and I'm like, okay, let's do all of them like that now. That's funny. You guys were like, wait, stop. You guys are being really polite about it. Too bad I don't get like an alert, huh? Some streamers have a robot read the chat as it's coming up. It's kind of funny when it mispronounces words because it doesn't understand how to say some things. That would help me hear your comments as I'm sewing. Oh, I made this look so fast until I had to get the seam ripper out, huh? All right, I just need enough to be able to pull it apart. There we go. That's why it was harder to sew. There we go. It does look like Easter eggs. This, now I can get this a little bit more perpendicular to the seam too, because that was kind of bugging me. You know, me and my angles. This is when I tend to get tucks, I'm noticing though. Because I'm so concerned with something else, I'm not paying attention to the, because the quilting kind of makes tucks, the thickness, you know. I was trying to get rid of that thread, but it's quilting. I'm gonna finish this edge. So remember, I fold it around itself, triangle, down, down. Doesn't need to be as lined up or pretty. It's on the inside. You're never gonna see it again. And if you buy her pattern, there's like templates to do the stitching on the faces and stuff like that. So you can totally do what she did. Oh yeah, see, there we go. I'm gonna fix that a little bit right there. She makes me want to use my home sewing machine. Darn it. So does anyone have Easter plans? I use cream thread just about on everything, Eliza. I learned that from a woman who ran a factory, and I was asking her, because I was doing pattern work for her clients. In a spec sheet, usually you don't denote thread specs too, like the brand, the color and all that. And she was like, oh, I just use cream for everything. It's really rare that we switch. And I was like, what? And it's true. You know, it really works for a lot of stuff. Yes, matching is really nice. I do it more in my clothing. I do it in my clothing. But on bags and things like that, I find that I really don't notice it. So when I was first starting sewing out, and I was, especially when I got my serger, and you needed 4 spools of thread for that, and then I needed 1 for my home sewing machine, it starts adding up, and you don't want spools of serger thread in every color of the rainbow. I have all those that you saw in that one picture on Instagram because I bought them from a factory going out of business. So I hardly ever use them. So it's really rare, and I just hesitate to get rid of them. I probably could. So I always suggest people get cream, white, black, and navy and try and make those work, because usually it works on the inside of a garment because the printing of fabric is white on the back and it just blends in. Look at that. Very cute. That binding is really fun. It looks like I could have cut this piece a little straighter, you know? This one looks better. I'll show you how I made my little zipper pull on the Scorpio bag too. So I just took a length of bias and I folded it in half on each side and then folded it over. I didn't care if it got a little smaller because I had to stick it through the zipper. Once I got it going, then I just kind of kept it going. Because it's stretchy, it's very forgiving. It's going to go through a zipper pull. I'm not going to agonize over this, you know? And you shouldn't either. But for my next bag, Eliza, I will switch to navy thread because the binding is navy, you know. I'm not that, you know, cavalier about it. Okay, so there's my zipper pull. And then I used my awl to poke it through. You could use ribbon too. And then I sewed across it. Let's see if I can get it a little nicer in there. I sewed across it. You could do something, you know, decorative, maybe put an X there, whatever you want. I just kind of came up with this on the fly because I don't have a Scorpio zipper pull. And then I cut it diagonal like that. Then I backstitched where my binding was sewn. Oh, how rude. My thread just came unthreaded. My needle just came unthreaded. I think zipper pulls make bags a lot easier to use, like this. Oh, I hate it when I get it close and it goes right through and I think, oh, that didn't go through, and I yank it out. Like you just like accidentally thread the needle. Ooh, you guys are all talking here. You are, Nancy? Nice. That'll be awesome. I'm going to make another pair too. A Mary Queen exhibit. That will be really cool. Oh, that's fun, Nancy. You did. Oh, that's cute, Louise. It's so fun. I saw some people imitating outfits that she wore, like making, like kind of inspired by the look. Sorry, my clacky clack machine. I couldn't get it lined up perfectly and it kept going down before I was ready. All right. Let's get rid of all this little stitching now. Yes, there'll be a little bit of fraying on that cut edge right there, but I'll show you what I'm going to do about that. Yeah, the zipper pull won't look the greatest forever. I'm gonna make it fray right now. I'm gonna get as much of it off there as possible and then trim it so that more is unlikely for a while, you know? All right, there we go. Shabam! My little, these things always kind of floof out when I get them in there, so I think edge stitching them would be my preference. It looked a little wonky there, but I think it's because of the, like, when you shape it, it's fine. One more. Choo choo. That's pretty fun. Oh, I want to see your kimono. How did I miss that? Oh, bummer, Eliza. Yeah, I mean, if it's your first pair, at least you're doing that first pair, you know? It became pretty funny. This one's your that one's your favorite? This fabric is, I just love these colors. Oh, the whole thing. That's my jam. All right, so this was a one-way print. I'm gonna sew this together on the bottom here so that I have my whole piece. And then I'm gonna switch to blue thread. Oh, is that what they're doing? So they're all doing the same dress. I think that does seem. You are, Julia? I did not know that. That's funny. Where am I trying to put my thread there? I'm like, where do I set this? You set it in the same spot. You always do. But, you know, because my machine's in a new building, everything feels like it's not in the same place. You know? What time is it? Okay, 12. Perfect. We have time for one more. So this one, I just, I'm going to line it with just a solid canvas. I tried to get clever and use a print, but I didn't find a print canvas over there that I was really happy with. And then I was like, well, maybe I could just take a piece of fabric like this, a print, and then interface it. And I was like, no. The whole point of this one is to not interface it and not quilt it. That way we can see if you just have some fabric in your stash and you want to sew this little zip pouch, you can still stitch a little face on it and put ears, but maybe you don't do the quilting and the interlining that you could. So it is a little train. That's awesome, Eliza. Keep at it. You'll get there. The pockets were shallow on that pant. Yeah, I want to know when you make that too, Mullen. Yeah, so it's a little train. There's little people. There's one little person in the window. Looks like he's in the window in a train with a snake. There's little bunnies. There's a lot going on in this print. This was the under collar fabric for my Wixton kimono, which is actually hanging over there. All right, so I'm just going to treat this canvas as one with this. All right. I'm using the same binding I did on my Wixton too, just because it looks so gosh darn good with this. I just threaded my machine, so I just need to sew a little tail to get it going. And we're gonna go from the inside to the outside. You know, I was thinking you guys, oh, you did French seams? That's awesome. You could do pinking shears too. you know? You could do flat felled. What was the pants we did flat felled seams on? Oh, the Jutland, the men's Jutland. I did my first flat felled seam on the inseam. That was pretty interesting. It was the Jutland, right, you guys? I'm pretty sure it was, because I've only sewn Ginger Jeans, Mountain View, and Jutland. So, all right, so when I sew binding, I usually start from the inside of the project, the part that's not going to show as much. So, what do you love, Julia? The delay is so funny. And someone said, oh, your fabric doesn't shift. You know, the fabric does like to grab onto itself. Certain cases, yes, the fabric will shift. I find that when mine does sometimes, it's because my pressure of my presser foot is too much. And so it's pushing the fabric. Mine's adjusted pretty good right now. I have had issues in the past because, you know, the feed dog's pulling, the presser foot is, it's not pressing forward, but because you're sewing forward, it's pressing the fabric this way while the feed dogs are pulling the under layer. So I see shifting because of that. And that's just something I've kind of discovered on my own. So, you know, when you pin things or you cut it out perfectly, even something die cut, it's still shifting. Like, what the heck? You know, that's, oh, you like the bias? I know, this bias is great. Yeah, I think it was the Jutland that did the flat felled. That was my first time doing it. All right, I need to trim this though. You see that? So, you could do the Wonder Clips or pins. And if I pinned this, I would probably pin it in the middle of the pouch, like here, and just keep all the layers together. You don't really need to pin the edge. You got this. I know you can do this bias this way. Bias is really forgiving. So see, I stretched it a little as I applied it. See, now it's sticking up anyway because it's a curve. I know that. But you can tell, like, it's even pulling up the project. And then I pull it to the outside. I fold it just past my first stitching right there because then I know if I stitch on here, it's either going to land in the ditch or on the binding on the other side. As long as I stitch to the right of that stitching, it's all going to be fine on the other side. But no one's going to see this because it's going to be behind a zipper anyway. So it's an excellent place to practice binding. And look how many I made of these this morning. I made one before you guys got here. And then we've made 4 since 10 a.m. and I'm chatting, you know. So in a couple hours, you can make at least 2 or 3. You can make probably 2, including the cutting time. Just don't agonize over it. Don't sit there and go, what should I do? Wish I'd quilt, you know, just do it. Sometimes things may look iffy when you're cutting it out. But then when you sew it, and it's done, it looks like it was supposed to be like that, you know. There's something about seeing it finished and sewn that kind of sells it. There are times I know that things don't always work out. I have definitely experienced that a billion times. But, you know. So see, it's like wanting to curve to the front. I know, Carol, I know you got this. You can pause this video. But even still, I mean, if you chip away at it, I feel like you get a better project in the end, you know? I was just talking about that with someone on Instagram, how when I first had my daughter, you know, the days of sitting down and starting and finishing a project were just suddenly over. And I just was very naive when I became a parent. Like, I was just like, my life will continue as is. And that's just such a joke, you know? Like, I try not to tell new parents that, but I try and gently say, hey, it's not going to be the same. That's okay, you know? It's better to know that going in. Like, how can you expect your life to be identical to the way it was when you're adding another human being who has their own opinions, brain, schedule, all that stuff? You wouldn't just like adopt a child that's 12 years old into your life and then assume your life doesn't change, right? So why would you with a baby? So, but mine did, and I didn't like it at all. I was a big crybaby about it. I would get 20 minutes maybe, you know? And I was really frustrated by that, but then I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm just trimming this over the trash can, sorry. I'm actually not even making it in the trash can, so I might as well do it right here. I started just like kind of not, I wasn't really embracing it. I'd like to poetically say that I was embracing the fact that this was my life now, but I wasn't. And I would just take what I could get and be as productive as possible. But what the good side of that was, I would leave my project and come back to it and see it with fresh eyes. So yeah, right, Carol? Exactly. Bye, Eliza. Have a good day. Thanks for coming. It's like a little distant village with little flowers. Can't remember what line this is. This isn't her Costa Rica line. I really love this designer. It's Sarah Watts. She's one of my favorite fabric designers. I actually like that side a little better. The trees. All right. Last one. Yeah, right, Julia. Yeah, you know, I have this added layer that I was renting an office outside the house at the time. And I was sharing it with a friend who had a cycling clothing company who didn't have kids yet. Right? Yeah, he didn't have kids yet. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. I don't even think he was married quite yet. No, he got married the next year because I made his wife's wedding dress. He was like, "You're gonna come back into the office? You can bring Cricket. Just bring her. It's fine, you know." And I'm not joking or exaggerating when I say this. There was something about that office that my daughter hated. I got get up to the welcome mat, but if I put one foot in, she'd start crying. It was the weirdest thing. And people were like, "Oh, it's because she knows you're distracted when you're there." I'm like, I haven't been able to walk in. How would she know? I'm just going in to like visit my office, maybe pick something up. It was the weirdest thing. She just hated it. Oh, that's right. Let's measure. Let's mark our centers. Right. And even he would be like, "This is getting crazy. The fact that she does not like it in here. There's some weird spooky vibe in here, you know, like that we didn't notice and she does, you know." And he would just wave at me to the door, and I would just keep walking and go on a walk on the river or something, you know. It's like, okay, another day I can't work. And I had like a big contract when I was pregnant, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's fine, we don't mind you having a baby." I was like, "Well, I do. I want to finish this before I have it." And they would drag their feet on things. It was driving me nuts. I need a little light, you guys. Let's see how this does. I need a little, that's not too much for you guys, right? I'll try and break up the brightness over here. Yeah, knitting, I could knit a little bit. I would knit with her on top of me. I already did that. Okay, so now we have our center of our zipper too. So this I felt worked really good, just lining the center up right here and pinning it, you know? That helped a lot. All right, let's open it up. Right, that's what I do. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm like, wait, how do I do that? This is the I'm the boss part, isn't it? Okay. I think I could figure out an easier way to do this if I wasn't distracted with chatting and sewing at the same time. Okay. That just like swung way out, didn't it? What did I do differently this time? I think because I made sure the bag was out of the way a little differently. This is too easy. I'm a little worried. You have to never you forget. That's fun. Okay, let's mark the zipper on this. I'm just marking the other end there. There we go. I really need to come up with some labels. All right. This is so cute. I like it. She recommends using a vinyl zipper like this so you can sew through it and cut it like I just did too. And it's a good suggestion. So yeah, the inside's a little boring on this one, but I wanted a true canvas lining to see how the thickness would be and the stiffness of the bag. I didn't want it to get too floppy, you know, not having that interlining or the quilting, you know. Actually, I'm going to take that out. Well, I've been opening the zipper, but you know what I think I've been doing is doing it through this little hole right here. And there's something I did a little differently. The binding I use is 1 3/8 inch wide this way. It is bias cut as well. I just find it works really great with 1/4 inch seams. And I like to sew with 1/4 inch seams. If you want something wider, just make sure you add it to the both sides of the width, you know, for your seam allowance. So if you like 1/2 inch seams, add a 1/4 inch on, you know, you add a 1/2 inch total. Yeah. What was I about to do? Oh yeah, I was gonna line this up a little better. Because I know the zipper should not line up right there. See, it wants to hang down like that because my zipper's wider. Whoa, whoa, Nelly. We will sew no fingers today. Did I catch that? Barely. I'm gonna take that out. Didn't catch my outer fabric. That's one thing you need to make sure you do. There we go. See that? Line that up a little better. I get my zipper out of the way a little bit too. There we go. So you want make sure that your outer fabric is showing. And let me get rid of some of these threads to be in the seam allowance. There we go. Canvas, man, it just disintegrates. Tell ya. Hanging on by a thread there, look at that. That's my sewing across it. So like I say, I think doing a longer zipper than is required is smart. It makes it easier to sew it in. The little ears piece. Oh, it holds the stuff inside your pouch theoretically, because the pouch opens all the way to the bottom. So see, look at that. It's even kind of like curved there on the bottom. Theoretically, you're not going to lose stuff out of your pouch because that's there. I mean, I guess you could, you know, tack this down maybe. I'm trying to think. I've seen this done a few different ways. I actually looked at doing a bag like this for chicken boots a long time ago, and I liked it, but I didn't like production sewing it the way we would, like to fit into our line. And also that I didn't want things to be lost out of there. But it is great, like if you wanted to put like a ball of yarn in there, you know, it stands up really nice. You could put cake in there. Maybe not a too big of a cake. Or say you're doing some color work knitting, you could have two little skeins in there. That'd be kind of nice. But I already had a bag in my line that achieved that, so it wasn't completely necessary. And one of my competitors had something kind of similar, and so I was like, nope, I don't need to do that. They're already doing it. They're doing a great job. I'm done. It's the way I looked at things. I don't need to do something someone else is already doing. I tried to stick to my own design. That way I knew, you know, it wasn't out there already. I really got to get on that. I really want to make those sewing patterns. I have to tell you guys, I'm really enjoying the, like, the lifestyle right now. I'm trying to take Mondays off. It's not easy for me. I probably won't take every Monday off. But because I work Saturdays here, I'm like, you know, you don't need to work 6 days a week. You're not getting paid. So take it easy, dude. You know, clean the house. I mean, that's not really, like I stayed home Monday and then I cleaned my house better than it's been in a while. And I was like, this doesn't feel like a day off right now. You know? I think I got the bottom of this one a little too wide on this side. I need to pay attention when you do this step. Don't like willy-nilly it like I am. It doesn't help that because my zipper tape is not the right width. It's adding a little dynamic down there, you know. Okay. Oops. What am I doing? I need to keep folding. I'm getting distracted. Sorry. I really enjoyed our pattern stream on Saturday, you guys. I really loved the camera setup, the way I mean, I don't know how about visually, like the quality of it, but I liked the way I could get it right overhead, which was great. And it was really awesome to do that with you guys. So if anyone hasn't seen it yet, I totally recommend you watch, and just, even if you just fast forward, skip through, and just let me know what you think, because I'd like to do more pattern streams. I'm up for the feedback and the things you want to do. And I'm going to go back and look at the comments on that one and see what you guys are really interested in, because, you know, I really want to do what you guys want. Oh, the train is really obvious now. I'm glad. Look at the bottom. It lines up almost perfectly. Every time I do this, I always have to open it back up and poke out my corners. I feel like this one looks the best in there, and it just has canvas as the interlining. I would have liked more of this to show, to validate the binding. Hop on the Bunny Express. See, there's little bunnies up there. So, okay, so the canvas with the linen cotton canvas is, I feel like it's a success. All right, let's line them all up. Oh, I forgot we made this one. And there's our kitty with the ears. This is the closest to Minky's design, but she hand stitches the face and quilts it, and it's adorable. But mine has the ears and it has a little tail. And then the Easter basket. So I made 5 of these today. They're all totally different from each other. A little better, huh? I do feel like it's sturdy enough, Carol. Like, I think of all of these. Yeah, it is lighter than these, but not by much. You can compare. See, it still stands up. This one has almost the most quilting on it. Look, see, look what's happening to my things here, because I bound on the outside. So that's probably good to note, that you would have to tack this up here. Tack these little bag guards. Yeah, you should, Julia. Yeah, the website is sewingillustration.com, because that's what she does. She illustrates with her sewing machine on things. Check out her Instagram feed. It's magical. She's super inspiring. I used on the inside of this one an old bandana that I had. But look at how poofy those things are. See, the fleece wasn't a good idea. I really wish I would have top stitched, the edge stitched these down, you know. I like this stripe with it. It turns out, oh no, this fabric, right? When I was looking at, when I was looking for, I had to look for astrology fabrics for a project I did with Jimmy Bean's wool a couple years ago, and that's when I discovered this. I had to do something every month of the year. It was kind of crazy. They don't lay down. They don't lay down well, but I'll hold it up. So you can see it in relation to me, what size it is. Does that help? It's so funny seeing yourself the way people are seeing you directionally. Like, I keep thinking that this is I'm going to be seeing, like, it's like looking in the mirror. When you move your right hand, it moves on the on the right side of the person, you know what I mean? Like on that side. And for me, it's just backwards, because you're not seeing me in a mirror. You're seeing me the way you would see me in real life. That is so confusing, however I just said that, but I don't know if you know what I mean, but did I show you all of them? It is a great batch of bags. Really fun. Cool. Well, that was fun, you guys. Now I have some gifts. Get rid of my choco liner here. My stitching's a little funny there. Hello, bear, and hello, owl. I love this fabric. I love the little speckles on it. So cute. Trains. We call this folk floral. I don't know what it's called. Look how poofy those fleece things are. They're like little pillows for your stuff in there. And this one had just the poplin. I think this edge stitched. Which one's edge stitched? This one got the edge stitching. I think edge stitching it, making it flat, is the way to go. I should have edge stitched all of them. Her Instagram is Zeriano. It's Zeriano. Zeriano is her Instagram. Her website, sewingillustration.com. Her name, Minky Kim. Sorry, my printer is terrible. That website, that's her name. That helped. She has a little book coming out in October. The non-hand sew version of the Little Friend zip pouch. The cheater version. I think this is my favorite because I love this Heidi Kinney fabric so much. But I don't know. This one turned out way better than I thought. Like, I was a little like, oh, this is kind of goofy, but I don't know. This bandana brings back a lot of good memories. It was an Oil Lily bandana and the little cocos of hers. But I love this fabric too. This has a lot of good memories. This training. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah, check her out. Super cute stuff. So she illustrates on fabric, little illustrations of her and her daughters, or her daughters doing things, or really cute stuff, you know, with her home sewing machine, I think. So, all right, guys. Well, that was fun. It's fun to make a non-thing that doesn't have to fit me, you know, like a thing that, like a bag. So I'm going to make the skirt on Saturday. We'll see. Yeah, her feed is really cute. I've been following her for a really long time on Chicken Boots. Not that she knows me or anything. I used to interact with her a lot, but yeah, she always pops because she inspired me for the back of my Mountain View pull-on jeans, and I did the fox on the pocket. I was thinking of her when I stitched that on there. I was like, oh, this is kind of like what she does, but she does it. I think she can drop her feed dogs and do it. I know she teaches you in like maybe a book or on her blog or something like that how to do it. But I'm not like paid by her or anything. I just really admire her work. It's just really cute. So this is what I'm going to do on Saturday. I think it was in my Needle Sharp box. I've got this nice chambray lightweight denim for the skirt. Cannot find the thing I want to use to make it cute. So I lost two things in my move. One of them worth a lot of money. I'm still kicking myself over. And those little bias bars, only two things. I don't lose things, you guys. I don't lose things. So my only issue is that I'm at the top end of their sizing. So waist 33, hip 43 and a quarter. I'm like right in there. So we'll see. I might make a muslin instead. So, and I'm thinking the button down version because I like the way that looks. It's more like got a little more on there, but it's got these little panels, which are kind of interesting. And it's called the Azara. Azara. They just put it on two lines like that. And the hashtag I think is DD Azara, big buttons. It comes with buttons, but we'll see if I use them. French Pattern Company, never used deer and doe, so we'll see. Cool. Yes, awesome. Oh, finished Easter dress is awesome. That's a cute bunny. That's way cuter than the one on the iPhone. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you guys can come Saturday. Maybe you guys are busy. We used to have the big tradition on Sundays where we would on Easter, we would make donuts. And we'd have tons of people over and make donuts. Yes, absolutely. Super fun. Like, I love things like this that are addictive and you just want to keep making them. You know, now I need a person to give them to. So, all right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your week. You know, subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. Click the bell if you want to be notified when I go live. I go live on Thursdays at 10 a.m., Saturdays at 11 a.m. I'm in Pacific. I'm in California. And I will hopefully, you know, maybe adjust those times in the future because I know I have a lot of people all over the world tuning in, which is awesome. And I know the Australians have a real tough time getting here because it's like 6 in the morning or something. I'm on Instagram, SoSoLive. My website is soso.live. It's under construction. I'm transitioning from one business to another. So, and I am taking it easy because I'm not doing this for money right now. So I'm just kind of like doing what people want to sew, doing what I want to sew. And that's what we do. We're really casual here. Everyone's super lovely. We have a Facebook group. I need to get on there and accept some people who have wanted to be on it. And it's at SoSoLive on Facebook. Yeah, it was a nice project today, right? Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Thanks, Amelia. You came back. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Julia. Bye, Malin. Bye, Carol. Bye, you guys. Bye, Marsha. Thanks for coming, you guys, and have a wonderful week. I'll see you Saturday at 11 a.m. And let me know what you sew. Are you dyeing eggs? Oh, I better dye eggs, huh? Nah. I'll just give her a gift card. She's 16. Cool. See you guys soon. Bye.